Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Field of 68's last call. Do you think that you could take down a black bear?
No, hell no.
I'm going to try.
The first person that's going to die has got to be one of the black guys. So.
Cold cuts, they suck.
Are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce going to get married?
Hell no.
Here we go. It's last call.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tuesday evening edition of Last Call here on Stadium. My name is Rob Doster. That is Terrence Oglesby. That is Jeff Goodman. And we are the Field of 68. And this is Last Call, where we will be hanging out for the next 30 minutes and answering your questions. So, gentlemen, let's get right into it. This first one comes in from Paul J. It's about the SEC. So I got to go to our Southern representative on the Field of 68. T.O., which top team in the SEC has the best chance to go up and grab a 1 seed out of UConn, Purdue, North Carolina, or Houston's hands?
Which I think at this point, just, you know what, it's all resume based. I don't know that one does. Just because you look at around the conference, like Mississippi, their non-conference isn't great. The other 3-loss team, South Carolina, they're starting to pick up steam. But as of right now, I don't know what the bracketology experts are saying, but I would assume they're in that 4, 5, 6 range. If somebody was going to do it, I actually don't think it's going to be done. If somebody's going to do it, though, it's Kentucky's going to get on a roll or Tennessee's going to get on a roll and then, close out and win the next, 7 out of 8 and then, win the SEC tournament. I just don't see it this year there's just such a hodgepodge of teams.
Yeah, the way that it currently breaks down, Jeff, Tennessee is a 2 seed according to our guys over at the Field of 68. Watch the Field of 68 bracketology show. Rocco Miller, Lucas Harkins, Brad Wachtel. Who am I missing, guys? Quick, who am I missing? There's one more I'm missing. Andy Bottoms from
Brad Evans.
Call,
Brad
Brad Evans. Hosted by Kevin Sweeney, hosted by Greg Waddell, the best bracketology show that you're going to find on the internet. They have Tennessee as a 2. They have Kentucky as a 4. They have Alabama as a 4. They have Auburn as a 5. And they have South Carolina as a 7. So I think it's probably Tennessee that's going to find a way to do it. But I agree with you. I think that the only team that has a chance to actually jump to that 1 seed line right now is Kansas if they go on a crazy run, or Marquette if they find a way to sweep UConn and make a run in the Big East tournament. Goodman, what do you make of this? The top of I feel like that's the biggest talking point at this point in college basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
the top of the SEC.
In the SEC, here's the only thing I'll say is if Kentucky can go on a roll, and I'm with T.O. I don't think they can do it. I don't think anybody in the SEC is going to do it. But Kentucky's the one team with the highest end talent that, like, if Dillingham rediscovers his 3-point shot, and again, these front court guys, maybe Big Z 2.0, because we can't call him Big Z. I mean, Zach Edey's got to be Big Z. So, like, what other nickname? We got to find another nickname for him.
I think Big Z, we just got to, or Big Zach Edey, we got to stick with the Big Maple, right?
No, he gets Big Z. He gets whatever he wants. He's the best
He
one.
gets the entire letter, huh?
He gets multiple nicknames. So, like, no, like, I almost feel like, what's his name? Is Zvonimir? I can't remember his first name. Zvonimir. Isn't that good? I mean, Rob's got that one down. I think we call him Little Z.
Say it, Rob.
I think he's Little Z until he can be consistent enough, and then maybe he can get Big Z.
I think that after his great performance to start the season, he has been a 0 so far. So I'm sorry, Big Z. I'm sorry, Kentucky fans. Come on, that was a good line. That was a good zinger. Come on, I love Big Z. I'm all in on the storyline. That was a joke. I got to get these.
That was Rob Doster. That was Rob Doster.
Big Blue Nation is going to destroy you, and rightfully so. I hope they crucify you for that one.
Yeah, they might. All right. So this is from Jacob P. Guys. Is there any chance UConn isn't a number 1 seed on Selection Sunday? And do you want me to take it? Because I Well, no, I disagree. I believe there is a very real chance that UConn is not a number 1 seed, and it is because their 7'3" monster of a center has had 2 foot problems and 1 toe problem in the last 4 months. Right? Like if UConn's healthy, we're
without
not
him.
having that conversation.
Right. They've won enough without him, Robert.
Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But
Rob Doster, local UConn hater.
He's calling him.
A lot of people that'll tell you that's true today, Theo.
Monomir, he's calling him 0, and now he's killing UConn. Like what has gotten into you here?
It is called Ninja versus Unicorn. It is a double India Pale Ale from the Pipeworks Brewery in Iowa. This is what has gotten into me. But here's what's great. Like, guys, this actually is like it's got a ninja and a unicorn on it. My daughter, I don't know if I should be saying this publicly, but I'm going to say it publicly. My daughter picked out this beer for me, so that's why.
My guess is it might have something else in it, Rob, because what you're spewing right now.
No, those are edibles upstairs. Yeah, that we ate one of those earlier. I'm kidding. It is a joke.
You had your daughter's gummies.
Yeah, the gummies are delicious.
They just 43 pieces of beer. 43 to
We were there.
Sorry. No, in all seriousness, Tio, in all honesty, I'm going to throw 2 stats at you. We had them last night after we were talking, or we had them on Sunday after talking about the game. When Donovan Clingan was on the floor, he played 35 possessions against Xavier. Xavier scored 12 points in those 35 possessions. That's according to Hoop Explorer. When he was on the floor, Xavier's effective field goal percentage was 18.8%. When Donovan Clingan was on the floor, Xavier shot 3 for 23 from 2-point range. For the game, they were 4 for 14 at the rim on layups and dunks. Is there a more impactful player in the Big East than Donovan Clingan when he is this Donovan Clingan?
No, there's not. Kyle Brenner, you can talk about him at times, but they just haven't been what they were over the last couple of years. He is the most impactful guy in the Big East. And for that matter, I think it's him and Zach Edey as far as defensive impact in the country. That matchup needs to happen. If there's a way we can figure that out, Purdue and UConn, that would be great. And I have a feeling the only way they would see each other would be in the Final Four. But still, they've been unbelievable. They've won enough without him. That's kind of my counter there. And I just don't think anybody's messing with him right now. So big, so physical. Samson Johnson's benefited from elongated minutes. I think UConn ends up with the 1 seed. I don't even think there's much question about it.
I disagree with the most impactful player in the Big East.
Hold on, let me guess.
Yeah.
Tyler Kolek, as our producer, Dagan Hughes, a Seton Hall fan, says in our ear, Kadari Richmond.
Kadari Richmond, the kid from the team from South Orange. Think about what they did without him. And then he comes back, and what do they do tonight? They win by 100. Yeah, it was against DePaul. I know it doesn't really count, but they won by 100 tonight against DePaul with Kadari Richmond back. He showed his worth to that program, and I might officially change it. I'm going to call him Seton Hall from now on. I'm going to change it from the team from South Orange to Seton Hall in honor of John Fana.
All right, here's another big question for you, and I don't want to get to this before we get to the first break. It's from Kyle C. Did Braden Smith get snubbed from the Bob Cousy finalists list? They said that he's not one of the top 10 point guards in college basketball. I know my answer. I know Jeff's answer. I'm going to Terrence Oglesby first. Wait,
yes.
Terrence Oglesby first.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, no question did he get snubbed. He's been so good this year, and his stats are screaming, boys, and nobody's wanting to listen. I don't understand what's happening there. Like, what are we missing here? I don't have the list right in front of me, but if he's not a top 10 point guard in college basketball, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. Now, given he's playing with Zach Edey, the man who affects all things. But that being said, you put his stats right beside Tyler Kolek's prior to tonight, it's very close. And I think Greg Waddell had this. It was like a great GIF or meme or whatever the hell they're called. It was like they're very close and very similar as from a numbers perspective. He deserved to be on that list, no question about it.
Let's go through it, Rob.
What was that line? Hold on. What was that line you just said right there, T.O.? His stats are screaming and nobody's listening, boys.
And nobody's listening. I don't understand.
All right. Quickly. I know we got to take a break in a second here. All right, Braden Smith. Isaiah Stevens is on the list. That's valid. Jamal Shedd's on the list. Valid. Tyler Kolek. Valid. DeJuan Harris. I'll give it even though he doesn't score. Javon Quinterly. No. Braden Smith's better. Boo Booey. Valid. Zakai Ziegler. Come on. He missed time. Like, what's he even doing on that list? He missed time. He's been okay. Max Haysmith isn't even a point guard. Tristan Newton. Valid. Wade Taylor. Yeah, he's carried his team. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, look, I don't want to drag anybody on this list because they're all really good, but there is no doubt in my mind that Braden Smith belongs somewhere in the middle of that pack. He is closer to top 5 than he is to not top 10. Listen, we got to hit a break. When we get back, we got to talk about the hot seat. We got to talk about Tom Izzo's 700th win, and we got to talk about the most dangerous team coming out of the Mountain West. Welcome back to the Tuesday evening edition of Last Call. My name is Rob Doster. I have Jeff Goodman. I have Terrence Oglesby. We are the Field of 68, and this is Last Call, where we answer your questions. We'll be here for about the next 17 to 18 minutes, firing away at anything that you feel is worth dropping in the chat and asking us. This next question comes from Andrew S., and I'm not sure how you necessarily would define this, T.O. I'll let you define it however you want. But he says, is New Mexico the most dangerous off the radar team? And before you answer that, I just want to let you know Vaulted is an app that allows you to participate in daily cash prize pools without an entry fee. It is a place that you can store your own predictions forever. And by using the Vaulted Challenge feature, you can prove you're smarter than people like Jeff Goodman. Go and download the Vaulted app and the free trial. VLTED. That's Vaulted. It's the app to challenge your friends, store your predictions, and join daily cash prize pools without an entry fee. Here's my hot take. Here's my Vaulted challenge, T.O. I'm saying that New Mexico is a second weekend team, regardless of what that draw is, regardless of who they play in the NCAA tournament. They are that dangerous. Back me up here, man. Come on. Back me up.
Here's what I'm going to say about New Mexico. On a one-game sample size, they can beat anybody. And however, I don't think that they can win a whole bunch of games in a row in a tournament because they're just so sporadic and crazy. And if some team can slow down the tempo and not turn the basketball over, they're going to have a hard time because they're really small across the backcourt. They do have some bigs in the front court that can really play. JT Toppin and Nelly Jr. Joseph are legit. They're as good as advertised. But if you have guards that can control tempo, that would worry me with New Mexico. But I'm guys, they're such a erratic team, and I mean that in a positive light, not necessarily in a negative one. They play crazy. Their hair's on fire. Donovan Dent's been terrific. Are they the most dangerous off the radar team? If they popped up on my screen and I'm coaching, I'm nervous immediately because I know that they're going to make life a living hell. And if they win that first game, a one-day prep for New Mexico is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare.
Good. Last I checked, guards win. Guards win in the NCAA tournament, and they've got a bunch of them.
Yep.
All right, let's get
Richard doesn't get enough credit. Hey, Richard's a really good coach. I thought Minnesota was a square peg, round hole. Like that was a weird job for him. And New Mexico's kind of perfect for him.
But I thought that was a square peg in a round hole too at the time because he had never
Really?
been out there. Well, he had never been out there, so I didn't know if he could recruit out that way on the West Coast. But he took Mashburn with him, got lucky with Dent, got how like part of it is the landscape has changed where you don't necessarily have to be plugged in anymore into the area that you coach. Like you can come from a different part of the country and quickly because you're honestly it's about NIL and it's about the portal for the most part.
Yeah. And let's keep in mind too, New Mexico is not like a super talent-rich state, and they've jumped into California quite a bit. That's pretty close, close enough, right? It's like that's a fun atmosphere. It's easy to sell. If you go to the Pit, like no kid in California is seeing anything like the Pit. They go over there, you're going to be able to recruit some guys, and they were the beneficiary of a lot of top 100 to top 125 kids getting overlooked because a lot of teams are looking in the portal. So why not go to New Mexico and have a great time playing and play in a system that's a lot of fun?
All right, Goodman. This is from David B., who I can only assume is the one and only David Bentley. He wants a hot seat update. You got any hot seat updates for us? Who are you putting on the hot seat right now?
I mean, Chris Holtman's on there now. He's on there. He's the latest true addition because as of a month ago, it looked like he had worked his way to where, like, all right, you know what? Ohio State might be a tournament team. Now they're looking like an NIT team, if that. And the fans were upset with him going in. So, listen, I love Holt, but you got to win there. You got to win there. You can't have 2 years, of kind of duplication in a way of starting off hot in the non-conference, setting the expectations high, and then absolutely plummeting. So I think Holtman would be the latest. Juwan Howard can join him certainly in the Big Ten, although it's a little bit different because Juwan Howard's obviously one of their own. So how does that shake out? We'll see in the offseason here whether he wants to do another year too with his health issues and everything.
Yeah,
that's the one thing you got to look at with a lot of these guys that have $100 million in the bank. Like, do they want to keep doing it? Especially with Juwan now, one son's already in the NBA, right? So it's a little bit different. And I said this a couple of years ago. Remember, the NBA was interested in him. And I said, there's no way he's leaving at that point after the Elite Eight because his son was coming in, his second son, right? So, like, he was going to wait. Well, again, I don't know if he can get back to the NBA. He's going to have to go back as an assistant, not a head coach. But he could say this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. All right. T.O. W.R. Gadsby. He asked you this question. He must know that you are the biggest Big Ten fan that we have on the Field of 68 Media Network. He said, can we get some love for Tom Izzo's 700th win tonight?
Yeah, we could get some love, man. One of the greatest to ever do it. Tommy Izzo, man, he's been fantastic for so long. This season hasn't gone according to plan, but man, you want to talk about a guy who's done it his own way and done it in a bit of an unorthodox way. He lets his players come back at him and he goes back at them. It's different than what a lot of people do, but what has he done his entire career? He's held guys accountable. He's won and he continues to win. And how many tournaments is it in a row now? 21? Like, unbelievable run for Coach Izzo. I will never take anything away from him.
Goodman, they really, really needed to land that come from behind win against Michigan tonight. Like it wasn't pretty. Like it was a little bit of a sweat in the first half, but they ended up winning by 19 points.
I know you took the live line for Michigan State. I know you did.
Who wouldn't? And T.O., to answer your question, since math is apparently your strong suit tonight, I believe that it is now 24 straight NCAA tournaments. And
whatever. And it's in the 20s. It's in the 20s.
Yeah, it would be it's 25 NCAA tournaments, and it would be 26 if 2020's NCAA tournament had actually happened. All right, listen, we are going to head to a break here in just a couple of seconds. When we get back, we have questions about dangerous mid majors. We have questions about challengers to Houston, and we have a question about Gonzaga and their at large status. Welcome back to the Tuesday evening edition of Last Call. My name is Rob Doster. I have Terrence Oglesby. I have Jeff Goodman. We are the Field of 68, and this is Last Call. Somebody get T.O. a throat lozenge. He's struggling over there. All right, T.O., This is from Bram J. I'm not sure who Bram, if that's a full name or what, but Bram J wants to know who is Houston's biggest challenger in the Big 12.
I don't know. I'm beginning to think it's an overrated conference. So we could just go ahead and start there. I feel like they've just kind of pushed up their metrics and pushed them up, and just with bad teams in their non-conference. I'm not gonna digress back to that part of the show. But if I had to think one team,
are we saying that the Big 12 is the new Big 10? Is that who is going to draw?
No. It's not like that. It's not like that.
Analytics movement.
No, it's not that. It's not like that. No, I think if you like, they're only a couple games. What is it? They're tied with a bunch of teams in league. Like, I don't think Texas Tech is going to stay up there for very long. Iowa State, do they have enough offense? That's a question. I think I'm not going to not trust Bill Self until like the last game of the season. I think that's a huge point. So if I had to guess, I would say Kansas kind of gets it back rolling. And then, you know what? I said not against Texas Tech. They might not get it going, but McCaslin, I'm just such a fan. He's just done such a good job with those guys, and he could get the most out of Pop Isaacs. They can continue to win games. It's just, I think they're just so tough, man. Bunch of linebackers, just tough, and they defend, and it's the best defense in college basketball.
T.O., Grant McCaslin is a big fly fisherman. Doesn't fish for bass, doesn't do deep sea fishing. Can you trust somebody that is only a fly fisherman?
Did they fly fish in Lubbock? I feel like that's largemouth bass territory.
I feel like if he went there, to coach there, there's got to be fly fishing there. And I don't know anything about fishing, but I'm just assuming.
I feel like that's largemouth bass or striper territory. Not a whole lot of trout there. Yeah.
I don't know. I have no insight into that. I've never gone fishing in West Texas. All right. This is from Todd H. Goodman. We'll start with you. Which mid-major could do a Florida Atlantic, could pull a VCU from 2011, could pull a Butler, a pre-Big East Butler, could pull a pre-A10 Loyola Chicago, and find a way to get to the Final Four this season? Who you got? Give me someone good. And don't give me one of like the basic ones. I don't want to hear James Madison. We know about James Madison.
And you don't want to hear about Indiana State. You don't want to hear
about Indiana State. If you say Grand Canyon,
no, we don't.
Off the show.
So a team that's a little bit under the radar. So you're saying I can't use Indiana State. I can't use James Madison. but I got to use basically a one bid league team that has to win their league. Listen, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to say how much I miss our city and go with Charleston, but I'm not because I don't think they're that good this year. How about the Akron Zips? How about the Akron Zips? I mean, think about it. They got Mr. Double-Double, Enrique Freeman. Ali transferred back there. That's a pretty good 1-2 punch. I don't know. I'll take Akron. I think Gross is a really good coach. They got experience. They got some veterans. They got balance. I'll go with Akron.
T.O.
You know what? How about we haven't talked about them in a while, and I understand this was Goodman's pick, but St. Mary's back rolling now. What, they won 12 out of their last 13? Like they're playing well again.
Tio, they're back.
And
say it.
They're back. St. Mary's is back. I was a little apprehensive. I was a little apprehensive because I thought that this team would go as far as Josh Jefferson would take them, and he's playing better. But really, Aiden Mahaney having that guard that can create something. I'm a big fan of Marcelonis, man. He's big, he's strong, he just bulldozes his way through everybody. Has some funny characteristics, a little bit like his dad. And let's be honest, guys. Alex Dukas has played 21 out of 21 games. It's a big piece. Big piece.
His back looks good now, Doster. His back looks good.
Well, yeah. Hey, Jeff, this is a perfect segue into the next question. Do you think Gonzaga needs to win the WCC tournament to get a bid to the NCAA tournament? Can they get in as an at-large this season?
I mean, can they? Yeah, I think they almost got to run it at this point, though. Because they just don't have much on their schedule. So, you look at it and their Ken Pom numbers are good, 23. Their net's a lot lower. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be fun if they need both teams go in thinking they have to win the WCC tournament to get in.
Yeah, and just for the record, according to our most recent Fielding the 68 bracketology release, St. Mary's was a 9 seed, and Gonzaga was not even one of the first 4 out. So that kind of tells you where they are in the pecking order at this point. The problem that they're going to run into, these are their best wins: Yale, Syracuse, USC, San Francisco. They just haven't beaten anyone. They get St. Mary's on Saturday, and they get Kentucky the following Saturday. They probably got to win at least one, if not both of those. Listen, this has been Last Call. This has been the Field of 68. We will see you guys again tomorrow at midnight right here on Stadium.